Okay, so recently we got the exciting news, which is just basically common sense, that the Supreme Court has now ruled there are only two genders. Following on from that, we then got our Prime Minister managing to work out the same thing, because apparently our Prime Minister needs the Supreme Court to work out just basic things like sex and how many there are.
Look, a woman is an adult female, and the court has made that absolutely clear. I actually welcome the judgment because I think it gives real clarity. It allows those that have got to draw up guidance to be really clear about what that guidance should say. So I think it's important that we see the judgment for what it is. It's a welcome step forward. It's real clarity in an area where we did need clarity. I'm pleased it's come about. We need to move and make sure that we now ensure that all guidance is in the right place according to that judgment.
Nevertheless, this is quite exciting in the sense that it does give us the definitive answer, if you like, for people who have questioned us for so long as to how many genders there are. But really, it is just common sense. But the mob of trans activists funded by the likes of BlackRock and George Soros have hit the streets of London and have cried out for the death of J.K. Rowling and have decided that that court ruling is one of the greatest attacks on trans individuals. Personally, it is a breath of fresh air, but these people still exist, and I have been out and about in London, and I can tell you that there seems to be an atmosphere where people are rejecting this in quite a passionate way. I've seen lots of businesses displaying more LGBT flags outside of their windows. I've seen people being more defensive about it when interacting in public, and it appears there is some kind of a pushback against this court ruling. After 5 years of being called crazy, after 5 years of being attacked for just addressing the simple point of there being two genders, we are finally getting the respect and decency that is deserved. This should not take a Supreme Court to work out. It really is just common sense. A 3-year-old child can work it out. It's just once you go through the education system, once you go through the process of state indoctrination, you come out the other side believing. I remember when I was at college, I remember when I was at school, and I was having these ideas pushed on me, and when I wholeheartedly rejected them, the mob would come after me. I'd be attacked, I'd be marginalized, I'd be told I'm crazy, I'm a fascist, I'm a Nazi. I'm not the only one that has experienced this. There are lots of other people who have decided to stand firm in their ways, in their principles, and not be taken down by the mob. So just going back to the demonstrations we've seen recently against this court ruling, it's very interesting to see quite a dramatic example, once again, of a two-tier justice system. We've got people actually calling for the death of J.K. Rowling, saying J.K. Rowling needs to die. That's apparently okay. And then when you want to address something online about Southport, and maybe you say something that's slightly unnuanced or could potentially be considered harmful in a sense, you then get arrested. To this day, the woke mob of virtue signaling trans activists seem to get prioritized and protected and are somehow entitled to making these outrageous comments. It's going to take a huge amount of effort to try and undo and take down what has been put on the British people over the past kind of 4, 5, 6, even 7 years now when it comes to the woke mob and the trans virtue signaling nonsense. These people are mentally unwell. Now, 100% I am all for freedom of speech, and I am for just freedom in general, but not when that hurts young people, children, and when there's men going into women's spaces, and when these kind of political ideas are being funded by multi-billionaires like George Soros. There is a web of connections when it comes to the likes of BlackRock and George Soros funding organizations across the world which are stirring up chaos and promoting these incredibly extreme values when it comes to Marxism, communism, mixed in with all of the LGBT stuff combined with Black Lives Matter movement. It seems to be a soup of utter nonsense and an illogical nightmare, which when you choose to resist, you then get slandered. Fortunately, we may have an element of clarity in the United Kingdom, but let's find out in the coming months. Or is it just a small victory for those who pursue common sense and rational thinking? Are we still going to see this kind of state indoctrination live within our country for the coming months, coming years? My name is Montgomery Toms. I'd be very curious to hear people's feedback. Is the court ruling a vital step in the right direction, or is it just a small step in the right direction? How much more do we need to disassemble and take down until truth and reality finally takes hold in the UK? If you enjoyed this video, if you appreciate an honest opinion about these kind of topics, then please support UK Column. You can go over to their website and you can support them for a monthly amount, a yearly amount, or you can even sign up as a lifetime member. It's honest, good quality journalism which stands firm when it comes to fighting against mainstream propaganda. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Montgomery Toms, and I will see you in the next one.